So here we are. All right then. Well, I believe we have all of our members here. So welcome everyone to our first meeting of spring 2022. Hopefully everyone had a great break. So today your e-board is here. I'm here with your president Ricky, as well as your historian Kayla, and we're also here with some recruiters from Moog. And what I'll do is I'll hand over the reins to Ricky for sort of an announcement he has to make, and then from there we can hand it over to our speakers from Moog.
Yeah, thanks, Keaton. Hey guys, so welcome back. Hope you guys had a good break, like Keaton said. I posted a link. I'm going to post a link in a couple of minutes with a Google form, just about like it's just a feedback form for you guys, just to kind of ask if what you guys thought about last semester and what you guys want more from the club, or what you guys want to see more from the club. Yeah, other than that, that's all the announcements I have to make. Yeah, I'll just have Ms. Falzone and Ms. Howell take it away here.
Awesome. Sarah, do you want to kick things off?
Perfect. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome back from break. That's exciting that you guys got to take some time off, hopefully relax and recuperate before you're diving back into another semester here. So thank you for taking the time to hear about Moog and our internship program. We are super excited to be here today and share a little bit more about Moog specifically, who we are, what we do, and more in-depth information about our internship program that we have here. So without further ado, we will move forward here and go on to the next slide and introduce who we have from our team. And before we kind of start with introductions, I would just like to note that we will make sure that these slides get to you all after today's session. So if you want to reference them, don't feel like you have to write all this information down or take pictures of our slides. We will make sure that we can get these slides to all of you. And if you do have any questions throughout the session today, please don't hesitate to use the chat function, or you can take yourself off mute. We're an informal group, so we will answer any questions that you have. That is why we're here today. So anything you might have, we will have time at the end for questions, but I know sometimes if you don't ask it right up front, you'll forget about it. So please don't hesitate to use those functions. So with that said, we do have Rob on the call from the Student Early Career team to kick us off in regards to introductions. So Rob, I'll kick it over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Sarah. Hello, everybody. My name is Rob Walter. I am the program lead for student and early career program here at Moog. I'm a relatively newbie to Moog. I joined in December of this year. I have about 23 years recruiting experience, so a lot of experience. I'm new here to the Buffalo area. Well, not new. I grew up here, moved away a long time ago, and just moved back. So I'm very excited, very grateful for you guys to join us, very thankful for your interest in Moog, and look forward to your questions and your engagement. So Sarah, I'll learn my lesson from yesterday and we'll go across the slides. So Sarah, I'll hand it back to you for you to reintroduce yourself.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so I am Sarah Falzone. I am the college recruiter here at Moog. So I recruit college students all across the US. So my day-to-day is speaking with different students across the country to really get an understanding of what your passions and interests are, so that I can align it with an opportunity that we hopefully have available here at Moog. I got started with our organization a little over 2 years ago. So back in May of 2019, I was once in your shoes just a few years ago there, trying to find an internship opportunity. I happened to come across Moog and I loved what I heard. So I joined as an intern myself. So I got started out in Torrance, California, so not too far away from where you guys go to school. And I worked out there for a few months as an intern in the HR department. Then I went back and finished up my senior year of college, where I worked remotely for Moog. And then once I finished up my senior year, when I graduated in May of 2020, I started working full-time out of our headquarters in East Aurora, New York, otherwise known as my home. I've really been working remotely ever since I graduated. But I absolutely love the role that I'm in today. It's a great opportunity for me to connect with different students. I feel a little bit more on a personal level. As I mentioned, I graduated in May of 2020, so it hasn't been too long. I totally understand the craziness of trying to find an internship opportunity while also going to classes, having a personal life and a social life. You are all clearly involved on campus as well. So all of that combined can be pretty hectic. So really looking forward to getting you guys to understand a little bit more about our program and hopefully having further conversations with you afterwards. So with that, I will pass it on to Kaitlynd.
Thank you, Sarah. So my name is Kaitlynd Howell, and I am our Student and Early Career Program Administrator. So I've been in this role since May of last year, but joined the team at Moog a little bit over a year ago. So a lot of the work that I do now revolves around supporting Sarah and Rob in our internship recruitment efforts, as well as overall development of our program. Very similar to Sarah, I graduated in May of 2020, got the whole YouTube virtual graduation thing. So I also know the struggle of trying to, go to class, find an internship, as well as navigating the pandemic. So once again, as Sarah mentioned, if you guys do have any questions throughout the session, please don't hesitate to ask. But otherwise, thank you all so much for being here again, and really looking forward to a great session with you all. So with that being said, I will pass it back over to Sarah to kick things off.
Perfect. Thanks, Kaitlynd. So on the screen here, you will see what our agenda looks like for today. So we're going to discuss quite a few different things in regards to first starting off, what is Moog? Who are we and what do we do here? And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into our internship program, more specifically, talk about why Moog, why choosing Moog over some of the other companies that are out there, how to apply for an internship here, and then we'll leave some time for questions. So with that said, on the next slide here, we do want to have some fun with you guys and have an interactive activity where you guys can engage with our session. We don't want to present to you and act as if we're one of your professors and we're sitting here behind the screen to lecture you. So if you could pull out a smartphone device or tablet, anything nearby, if you don't have that, if you are using your computer, that is totally fine. And I will show you how you can get onto our site using your computer here in a second. But if you do have a smartphone nearby, you'll just pull up the camera function on that device, hover over this barcode. You do not have to take a picture of it. If you just scan over the barcode, it should take you to our interactive activity where we are going to ask just a few questions throughout today's session. So we'll give everyone a few seconds to do so. And if you have any issues, please let us know. All right, we will move on to the next slide here, and I will show you how you can get onto it using the code at the top there. So if you go to www.menti.com and you use the code 47066539, it should take you to this slide that says, are you familiar with Moog? And if for some reason, I know we had technical difficulties during our last session. So if for some reason it's not working today as well, we can troubleshoot here and figure out how. I'm trying to see if we have some responses coming in. Are you guys seeing the question, have you had an internship before by chance? Because it looks like we're getting responses there. All right, we got some responses coming in the chat. So that is totally fine. If you want to use the chat function, you can absolutely use that as well. So we got no's and yeses coming through. I don't know if that was for the question or if this is for, are you familiar with Moog? So you can put the responses to this question in the chat, or you can use the Menti. I don't think it looks like it's working. So I'll have to troubleshoot. I'm not sure. Kaitlynd and I just went through this to make sure that it worked for everyone. It was working, but I guess it's seeming not to. All right, so if you want to use the chat to answer the question, are you familiar with Moog? That would be perfect so that we can get those responses, and then hopefully it'll work for the few other questions that we have. So if you want to put yes, I know a lot, only a very little bit, or not much at all in the chat function here, we can hopefully see who knows about us. Not much at all, not much at all. Okay, perfect. That's probably why a lot of you are here. You're here to learn a little bit more about our organization, and some of you know a little bit about Moog, but I haven't seen anyone who says, yes, I know a lot. So that is probably why you're here today, to learn more about our organization. And hopefully by the end of the session, we will have a lot of you either in that, yes, I know a lot, or that the very little bit in that, I know a very little bit. So moving forward here, we'll talk a little bit about who are we and what do we do here at Moog. So currently at Moog, we are the leading integrator of precision control systems. So we have three main operating groups here. We have our aircraft group, which ties off between commercial aircraft and military aircraft. So if you've ever been on, an airplane before, if you like to travel, You've probably been on an airplane that has Moog actuators in it. So in the wings of the airplane that keeps that plane in the sky, Moog manufactures a lot of those actuators in many commercial airplanes out there. So you probably don't know about us because we're a little bit behind the scenes, but we have probably been around in your day-to-day life. Then we have our space and defense group, which kind of speaks for itself. We have our space side and our defense side. And then we have our industrial group, which kind of has a few main sectors all tied into that one operating group, whether it be marine life, wind turbines, medical device units, all of that is tied into our industrial group. So on the screen here, you'll see three main pictures. So the first picture in the top left, that is Moog's SureFly vehicle. So what does that mean? That is a 2-seat, all-electric, multi-motor aircraft that incorporates 8 independent electric propulsion motors. So that can be flown with or without a pilot on board. It actually just flew for 5 minutes in the sky without a pilot in the vehicle, at all, which is pretty crazy. But we are always working on trying to figure out new and innovation ways to figure out how can we better our processes. So we are continuing to test and extend the flight duration of this vehicle and add new automated capabilities that we can incorporate to extend the flight duration and also have a time where it's flying all on its own without a pilot even on board. And then on the top right there, you will see what looks like a Spider-Man ride. Moog actually manufactured the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man ride, which is at the Universal Studios in Japan. So if you've ever been to Japan before, if you plan on going to visit Japan, you will probably come across, if you go to Universal Studios, this ride that is there, and Moog actually manufactured this ride. So that is within our industrial group. And then the bottom picture, that is the Mars rover. So Moog's rocket engines actually helped to steer this spacecraft. It was on a 350 million mile trip to Mars, and Moog's throttle valve assemblies that were incorporated in this sky crane actually helped to control this sky crane during the descent. And ultimately it helped to ensure that the rover landed safely. So that is something that's pretty recent. It's not even a year old yet. It just happened back in February of 2021. So it's almost coming up on a year here, but if you've heard about it in the news, Moog had a pretty big part to do with that. And then the second bullet point here talks about our culture. That is something that we take very seriously here at Moog. Our culture is what sets us apart from a lot of our competitors. So at Moog, we have values that we take into consideration each and every day. And our culture is one where we really want students like yourselves to come into our organization and allow us to think differently. We want to be challenged. We want your fresh perspectives to come into our organization to allow us to become more efficient and effective in the ways that we do things. So that's where we are in the current day. So what does the future look like for Moog? Where are we headed? Innovation is how we grow as a company. We are always investing in new technologies. The picture to the right here looks like a construction vehicle. And why is that on here? Moog just created a few months back a new business unit. It is our mobile machinery business unit. And that is going to be based upon autonomous construction vehicles. So we're going to look at ways that we can create these construction vehicles that are used to having a human that's operating them and making them like a robot, basically. They can operate all on their own. So we know that's on the rise. We know that autonomous vehicles and aircraft are also on the rise. So we are always looking at new ways that we can really take ourselves to the next step. So moving forward here, we're going to talk a little bit about what are you going to experience at Moog? If you are to be an intern here, what does that experience really look like for you? So you are going to really get hands-on experience doing meaningful work here. So the projects, the tasks, the assignments that you are going to be working on as an intern are going to directly impact the success of our organization here at Moog. So you're going to be working on projects just like your manager is going to be working on, just like anyone from your team is going to be working on. Everyone here works together. We work as a team, really to solve one main goal, to help Moog be more successful than it was the day before. Not only that, but you're also going to have the ability to really expand your practical knowledge. What you're learning in the classroom, we want you to bring that into our day-to-day work that we're doing here at Moog. So yes, you're going to be working on projects in the classroom, also taking exams and really learning those critical skills that you need, but then applying it to the projects that we work on here and getting that hands-on experience. So when you go back to school that next semester, You can say, oh, hey, I've done this before. You're working on a project with a team. You can maybe lead that project then, since you've already had some experience doing it. You'll have some mentoring and coaching from different individuals at our organization so that they can really understand, what are your interests? What are your passions? What do you really want to do here at Moog? What do you like? Do you like the department that you work in? Is there another department that interests you? And how can we really get you that exposure? It's a family-like environment focused on trust, respect, and innovation. As I mentioned, everyone works together as a team here. We trust all of our employees to do the best that they can each and every day. We understand that we're all human. Everyone makes mistakes. That's how we learn, and that's okay. You're here to do an internship to learn, to get that hands-on experience. But we trust that you're going to do the best that you can. And then you'll also have an active team membership and involvement to really ensure that you're getting the most out of your experience here. So not only the student early career team who's here today, Rob, Kaitlynd, and myself, but also your team, your managers, your mentors, the folks that you're working with, the teammates that you have. They are going to really ensure that you're getting the most out of your opportunity here at Moog. And then lastly, you're going to be able to meet and network with many different interns all across the world. So we are a global organization. Not only are we operating in the United States, but we are also operating in 26 different countries and territories outside of just the United States. So you'll have opportunities to meet and network with different interns to really understand what their perspectives are. What are the projects they're working on? And Kaitlynd will touch a little bit more about the activities that we present to our interns to do that. So on the next slide here, I just want to briefly touch on our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. This is one that we started about a year ago now, so back in January of 2021. And this is something that we're working on each and every day. I'm not going to sit behind this computer screen and tell you that we're the most diverse organization out there, because we're not. But I will tell you that we are taking the steps to work on becoming more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. So there's three main initiatives to our main goal here is we, one, want to increase the diversity of our leadership. We want the diversity of our workforce to match the diversity of our communities. And we want all of our employees to feel comfortable bringing their full authentic selves to work each and every day. So we really want all of you to come into our organization. If you want to get involved in one of our employee resource groups, you absolutely can do so. But we're really looking for students from different backgrounds who can bring those fresh perspectives into our organization. We might have been doing something for 5-10 years and it might be working, but there might be a better way to do it, a more efficient and effective way. We can leverage a new technology, maybe one that you've learned in the classroom, that we can apply to the different projects here at Moog, and so we can be more successful. So with that said, I'm now going to turn it over to Kaitlynd, and she's going to touch a little bit more on the specifics of our internship program. So over to you, Kaitlynd.
Thank you, Sarah. So as Sarah mentioned, we'll be diving a little bit further into our internship program specifically. But before we do that, and pending any technical difficulties, actually, it looks like most of you have already answered the question. You can't see it or you didn't get the chance to answer it. The question was, have you had an internship before? It looks like some of you did say yes, but a majority said no. So with that being said, whether you've had an internship before or you haven't, we'll dive a little bit further into our internship program specifically and how we operate. So how long is a full intern block at Moog? It is 8 to 10 weeks at minimum. So with that being said, as Sarah mentioned before, we provide our interns with meaningful work. So anything less than 8 to 10 weeks is just not enough time to get you assimilated, get you to meet the team, get an understanding of your project. So that's where the 8 to 10 weeks at minimum comes from. A lot of our interns stay with us multiple blocks, but that's just our minimum. So we have three main operating blocks. So we have our summer block, which runs from May until about August. We have our fall block, which is August until about December. We don't really have a winter block. We call it a winter break since it's only about a month. So once again, not enough time to really get you in and get to meet the team and get you fully settled and ready to work on your projects. And finally, we have our spring block, which runs from January until about May. I will say, obviously, our summer block is typically our largest block. Students are on summer vacation. They have a lot more time to commit to an internship. And ironically, we are recruiting for summer internships at the moment. So we'll touch a little bit later on how to apply in our internship recruitment process, but just wanted to keep that in mind for you all. And the question I'm sure many of you are wondering, are internships at Moog paid? The answer is yes. So as we've mentioned, you're doing a lot of meaningful work, helping us solve some of our most technical challenges. So we do offer a competitive salary for all of our interns to make sure you're compensated for your hard work appropriately. Then on this slide here, you'll see this fun little diagram. This shows the majors that our current and previous interns have studied. As I'm sure you'll see, engineering is in huge letters. Due to the nature of the work that we do, that's where we have the most projects. So we have the most internship opportunities that are surrounded upon engineering, but if you're not in engineering, for example, computer science, we do have opportunities for you all as well. So once again, definitely take a look on our careers page if you are interested. And this is really a great opportunity. I'm sure a lot of you are studying computer science, but maybe if you're not, or maybe if you're a little bit interested in a different field of study, it's a great opportunity for you to really see what's out there, see what full-time opportunities that may interest you. It's a really great chance to try before you buy. So, from joining an internship, you can get a better understanding of what day-to-day operations look like, maybe some stuff that really interests you, and maybe some stuff that doesn't interest you as much. So if you are studying a combination of any of these, once again, definitely keep an eye out on our careers page. So moving forward here, we discussed about our internship program a little bit further, but with that being said, why would you want to work at Moog specifically? But once again, before we get there, we do have another question for you all. So what benefits do you look for when applying to internship opportunities? So this could be anything, we've heard pay, we've heard coffee in the break room, like you name it, what motivates you, what incentivizes you to apply for an internship opportunity? I'm going to just assume that we're having technical difficulties again. So if you all want to use the chat function, throw some ideas in there. Sarah, if you could see those and maybe read a few off. If my chat's over here, that would be great, but I'll give you all a second to think it over.
It looks like we have relocation assistance, good pay and interesting work experience for my resume, a transition from intern to a full-time position, strong enduring mentorship relationships, getting real-world experience. I really need the experience, which is the most important to me, unpaid or not. Very interesting. Good
Awesome.
mentors. Great mentors, work experience, future opportunities, a good culture, relocation. Any other ones? These are all very good.
Okay, well, those are really great ones. Oh, sorry, were there more?
No, I think that's majority.
Okay, awesome. So really great responses. If you haven't seen already, I'm sure some of your responses tie into some information Sarah's covered, around mentorship and training. But to get into the nitty gritty and the good stuff of it, these are the benefits that we offer our full-time interns. So if you work 40 hours a week, that will qualify you as a full-time intern. If you can't support that amount of time or you're not looking for full-time internship, no worries, but just letting you all know that these are the benefits for our full-time interns. So we offer intern time off and paid holidays. As Sarah mentioned before, our culture is very important. And one of the main things that we focus on is work-life balance. So we want to ensure our interns have time to, spend time with loved ones, participate in any hobbies, at least just take some time away from work to relax and recuperate. All of our full-time interns are also automatically enrolled in 401k with the option to not automatically enroll as well, but another great benefit. And we have our culture on here again. I know Sarah touched on it a little bit earlier, but it really is what sets us apart. We actually just placed 6th overall for best places to work in New York State. So like New York City included, which is a pretty big deal, but I really believe that's a lot due in part to our culture. It's really refreshing to be able to wake up every day, be excited to work with your team, be excited to work on the projects that you're working on. We have a really family-like environment that really is what sets us apart. Then on this next section here, we do offer reimbursement for travel. I know a few of you mentioned that that was an incentive for you. So you live 50 miles outside of one of our Moog locations, we will help you out with traveling to a location that's closer to Moog. Obviously, if you're going to move, you're probably going to need somewhere to stay. So we do offer a housing stipend as well for folks who live 50 miles outside of a Moog location. Then finally, school is where you're learning all the really important stuff that you can use to bring in those new ideas and fresh perspectives. So if you do complete 2 full-time blocks with us and meet the minimum requirements, we do offer a $600 scholarship grant. So those are just a few of our full-time intern focused benefits, but like Sarah said before, we have a lot of other great opportunities to really help you develop your skill set. And then kind of tying into that, we do offer a variety of intern activities for our interns. So a lot of these are focused around 3 main groups. So networking opportunities, we want you all to meet and connect with other interns. We have interns all across the US, so it's a great chance to meet some lifelong friends, talk about projects, talk about common interests. We also want to encourage you to network with other people in your team and even outside of your team, all the way up to our executive leadership team. This past summer, we did have an event where our interns got to have a panel discussion with our executive team, learn about how they got into their roles, and it was a really great time. So we definitely encourage networking as well as professional development. A lot of these are a little bit more soft skills focused, interview tips and tricks, resume building, things like that we definitely want to help you work on. Maybe you're interested in building that resume to come back full time. So we definitely want to help you out there as well. And finally, work's super important, but so is having a little bit of fun. So we do have some engagement activities, typically revolve those around holidays or other exciting stuff we have going on. We did the fitness step challenge last summer, and I was very humbled by how few steps I take a day working from home. So that was really fun. But overall, a lot of great activities. The ones listed here are events that we've hosted previously or are hosting this block, but we'll have a lot of other exciting opportunities popping up for our future blocks to come as well. And with that being said, I will now pass it back over to Sarah to talk about our application process.
Perfect. Thanks, Kaitlynd. So now that we talked a lot about, who we are, what do we do here at Moog, what does our internship program really entail? You're probably like, this sounds really exciting, but now what do I do? So the next step would be to apply for an internship here at Moog. So how do you go about doing so? The first thing I'd like to note is what you will find on our careers page, which we will provide you with the link here in a minute, is called what we have on there, what it's called is sourcing requisitions. And what does that really mean to you? So a sourcing requisition is one main spot for all of our candidates to apply to. So that doesn't necessarily mean we only have one internship opportunity, because we definitely do not. We have hundreds of opportunities, but that is just one main place for all of our candidates to apply. So what you'll see on our careers page is going to be mechanical engineering internship, IT computer science internship, electrical engineering internship. So you're going to want to apply to the internship opportunity that specifically relates to your respective field of study. So I'm going to assume the IT computer science internship opportunity is probably the best fit for the majority of you here, if not all. So you can go on there, you'll apply to that link, and it's a general application. So you'll just fill out the process, all of the questions that it asks you, attach your resume, and we'll talk about other things to include. And so from there, hiring managers will have conversations with me about, I'm looking for an intern this summer. This is the type of candidate I'm looking for in regards to, I'm looking for someone with these skills. I'm looking for a junior, a sophomore, a senior, someone who has taken maybe XYZ course, whatever that looks like. And then I'll go into that sourcing requisition and pull candidates that meet the qualifications and requirements that that specific hiring manager is looking for. So with that said, resumes and applications are reviewed specifically by the college recruiter and not an ATS, which stands for applicant tracking system. So what does that really mean? It means that a human being myself, will actually look through each and every application that we have and source through your resume specifically. So it is not going to be a robotic system or the applicant tracking system. I don't just put a keyword in there and then up populates all of the resumes that have that keyword. So you can be rest assured that a human being's eyes will be looking at your resume. But with that said, it does take some time. So the process does take a little bit. So when you do apply, if you don't hear back, the next day or even the next week, It's just because we are taking some time, we look at applications on a rolling basis, depending on the needs of the business and when we have a position that meets the qualifications that you might fit. So with that said, what are some helpful things to include in your application? One, it would be awesome if you could note if you're looking for a full-time or a part-time internship. As Kaitlynd mentioned earlier, we do run on a block system. So we do have full-time internships that occur throughout the school year. So fall and spring semester, when maybe you're not available for an internship opportunity, we might think you are if we don't see that it's not listed there. So if you're looking for full-time in the summer, absolutely put that at the top of your resume, looking for a summer 2022 full-time internship opportunity. And also put on there if you're looking to relocate. So you can include that at the top as well. If you're open to relocating, we have facilities located all throughout the US. So if you're open to maybe relocating to a different part of the US for the summer or whatever block you're applying for, that way we know what other opportunities we can look at when we're looking at your application. A copy of your unofficial transcript, if you have access to that, that's also really great to put in there. The reason being is we can see what courses you've taken thus far, or maybe what courses you're currently taking in this current semester. And that way we kind of have an understanding of what you might know skill-wise if it's not on your resume already. And then time frame for availability. As I mentioned, if you're looking for just a summer internship opportunity, then just put summer 2022. If you're open to doing a fall or a spring opportunity as well, definitely include that. We have seen students who will stay at Moog starting from May and complete an internship all the way throughout December. So they're open for the summer and the fall, and that way we can kind of help create a career path for them. So moving forward, in regards to what do we look for when we're reviewing the applications themselves, we really look for one, enrollment in a college degree program. So if you're sitting on this call right now and you're like, well, I'm about to be graduating this upcoming May, and I'm going to be looking for a full-time career opportunity, that is absolutely fine. You're just going to want to look at our entry-level full-time career positions, which are also located on our student early career page. Again, we'll show that link here in a second. But if you are going to school and you're going to be continuing going to school, whether that's for a associate's, bachelor's, master's, PhD, as long as you're enrolled in a college degree program, you can apply for an internship position. So maybe you're graduating with your bachelor's this upcoming May, but you're going to be completing your master's degree in the fall. You are absolutely eligible for an internship opportunity and can apply. So the next thing here is a passion for your field of study. So when applicants are always asking and candidates like, well, what are you really looking for? Are there certain skills that you're looking for or a certain background? We're really looking for that passion, that drive, and the energy. Yes, technical skills are very important, but a lot of that can be taught to you. So maybe there's a program that you use at school right now, but it's not the same exact program that we use here at Moog. That's totally fine. We can definitely help you learn that program and get you up to speed. But that passion, that energy, the drive for wanting to actually do what you're doing sets you apart. So if you're really interested in computer science, you're clearly involved in an organization outside of your typical coursework, then that's awesome. That's exactly what we're looking for, is someone who's really passionate and wants to get down and do the work and help us to solve our challenges. Relevant work or internship experience. This is not a requirement. If you have it, absolutely put it on your resume or your application. This just allows us to know maybe what you've done in the past. So when we're having conversations with you, we can understand, what did you really like about that experience, or what did you not like so much, that we can create an opportunity for you here that really relates to what you're looking for. Student organization and club involvement. That's very important. That shows that you have taken an extra step aside from going to classes every day. You're involved outside of your typical school day, and that just shows a little bit more of that passion piece. Applicable projects and coursework. So maybe you've done some projects inside the classroom or maybe in the club that you guys are all in today. Put that on your resume. That will allow us to just further understand maybe your skill set, or maybe you've taken the lead on a project. That shows your leadership skills. Those are very important as well. And then the coursework kind of ties into the next bullet point of track record of academic achievement. So not only are we going to look that you're excelling in your classes, but also what courses you've taken, so that we can really understand where you are right now in your school year, what courses you've taken, what you're going to be taking, what you're currently taking. So with that said, we shared a lot of information with all of you today. So we do want to leave some time that we can open it up for questions. Anything that you guys are wondering, whether it's about our internship program, how to apply, anything about Moog specifically. But before I open it up, the barcode here will bring you to our student early career page. It will also bring you to a page where you can see our internship positions and also our entry-level career opportunities. So if you're just getting ready to graduate, that would be a place where I would suggest you go look first. Those are positions for students who are just graduating college, don't have a ton of experience, if any at all. So those are positions that aren't going to say, we're looking for 5 years of experience and you have a bachelor's degree. It's going to be, we're looking for 0 to 3 years of experience, maybe 1 to 2 years of experience. And internship experience absolutely applies to that. So definitely take a look there if you're going to be graduating soon. And then lastly, our Instagram page, that is something that's fairly new, but if you have an Instagram and would like to follow us, our @handle is Moog Internships. We will post when our next group of opportunities are going to be posted. So our fall internship positions, we also put some fun things, events, activities, and things that we're doing on the Moog side in regards to our internship program. So with that, I would love to open it up for questions. Anything is fair game. There are no silly questions. We are here to answer anything that you are wondering so that we can help you really understand what the internship program is about here at Moog. So please feel free to take yourself off mute or use the chat function.
Yeah, just real quick to interject too, just a reminder to fill out our sign-in sheet for anyone that hasn't yet. Forgot to announce that in the beginning, but yeah, please do so if you haven't. But yeah, as they said, please ask away your questions.
We can bounce back and forth, Caitlin. Are the computer science, and Rob, if you want to join too, and now that you kind of have a little bit of an understanding, are the computer science intern positions remote? All of our positions here at Moog vary depending on location, depending on the department that you're working in, maybe the projects that you're working on. I'm not going to say all of them are remote. At minimum, a lot of our positions are a hybrid model. So coming in person for some aspect and then also working remotely. So majority of our internship programs dependent on computer science or other respective field of study, majority of them are a hybrid model. So some capacity of in-person and some capacity of remote. And then what locations are currently accepting internships? Is there any remote ones? Many locations are accepting internships. So that was perfect. Our main California, okay, I thought you were answering that. Sorry about that. So we have facilities in Gilbert, Arizona, Torrance, California, Santa Barbara, California, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Salt Lake City, Utah, Blacksburg, Virginia, Orville, Ohio, our headquarters in East Aurora, New York. We also have a facility out in Orlando, Florida. So all of those are accepting internships and applicants. We're looking for interns out of all of those facilities. There are some remote opportunities, but very few. A lot of them are some type of hybrid model where you will come in person for some and you will be remote for some.
I can take this next one if you want. So what is the interview like? I'm assuming the interview process. So for all of our internships, as Sarah mentioned before, she reviews them on a rolling basis based on the needs of the business at the time, reviewing what hiring managers are looking for specifically. And then when reviewing resumes, if she comes across any that do align with the opportunities that we do have available, she will reach out to you directly and conduct a phone screen just to get a better understanding of, what your interests are, your experiences, kind of go over what she mentioned before, if you're looking for full-time, part-time, all that good stuff. From there, she passes the information along to the hiring manager for the role. And if they're interested in proceeding forward, we will set up an interview with you. Most are Microsoft Teams right now, just due to the pandemic and everyone's safety being a priority. So usually about 30 to 60 minutes for those. You'll meet with the hiring manager and or a few people on the team. And then from there, it is up to the hiring manager and team to make a final decision. And then we move forward with that process. I'm sure a follow-up question too will probably be, what is the time frame on that? Once again, as Sarah mentioned, we're reviewing applications on a rolling basis. but we are hoping to have a majority, if not all of our summer openings filled by around the March timeframe at the latest. So with that being said, we'll try and move as quickly as we can, but since Sarah is our hero and is our only recruiter at the moment, she can only move so quickly. So just do keep that in mind throughout the process. You know, we definitely want to consider as many people as possible and make sure that your skill set aligns with the opportunities that we do have available. So thank you for that question. Really great question. Any other questions? There aren't any other questions. I will just say the door doesn't close here. Our Instagram, as mentioned, is still on the screen. Ricky, I will send these slides over to you if you want to distribute them out to the group. I know there's a sign-in link for today's meeting, so hopefully the emails will be there as well. But I'll include my contact information in that, obviously. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. If I need to, I'll pass along to the rest of the team. But once again, if there's not any further questions, thank you all so much for taking the time to meet with us today. Really hope you found this session to be valuable and really hope we see a few of your names applying to our opportunities here soon. So thank you all so much and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you to our speakers from Moog. Really appreciated it. I think this is presenting a great opportunity to all of our members. So yeah, to all of our members, if you are interested, of course, you know, try to take all this information. We'll try to distribute the information out, and yeah. And Ricky, you want to close us out then?
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Falzone. Thank you, Miss Howell. Thank you, Mr. Walter, for coming on. Thank you, Moog, for coming. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, you guys, if you guys have the opportunity, like Keaton said, just make sure you apply. Make sure you signed in. Make sure you check out the feedback form that we sent out a couple. I think, yeah, we'll send it out in our Discord. And if yeah, if you want more information about Moog, I'll be in touch with Ms. Howell. And you know, we'll post some links in our announcements. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for coming.
Bye bye,
Thank you
everyone.
all
so much.
Take care.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Take care.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Take
Likewise.
care. Take care.